Girl Powdering Her Neck by Logan Wills, Jack Fallon, and Mary Monaco. Painting analysis. In this painting, the viewer views what appears to be a Japanese woman putting on her makeup in the mirror, perhaps in the morning time, getting ready for the day. She's putting what looks to be white powder on her face and neck, which was, again, a very common activity for Japanese women in the 17th century. It'd be a part of their morning routine getting ready for the day. Uh, it is implied that she does this in an effort to appear beautiful and seductive to the Japanese men in her vicinity, in her living quarters.
Word choice, word order, and figures of speech. So for word choice and word order and figures of speech, we found that the poem Girl Powdering Her Neck is a free verse lyric poem. This means that the poem does not follow the regular standards of poetry that people commonly think of, like rhyming and regular meter. An example of word order that we found is that in the poem itself is written in short lengths that are divided into a total of 7 different stanzas, making the poem unique. Another example of word choice and word order is that the poem falls under the category of informal diction. This means that the poem does not use any sort of sophisticated language like formal diction does, and it is rather told from the describing perspective rather than conversational. The subtitle of the poem located at the top, which is from a ukiyo-e print by Utamaro, is also a unique aspect of the poem as it reveals that a Japanese painter named Kitagawa Utamaro painted the girl powdering her neck that was shown in the previous slide. For figures of speech, the poem is both extremely visual and descriptive, but it also leads to the reader noticing the rich and visual imagery that is used, which we will discuss later in the presentation.
Voice and tone. The poem is written in third person, the speaker being a woman who is observing the portrait of Geisha. The speaker, using their own words, describes what is happening and what the woman is thinking. The tone of the poem leaves the reader to conclude that she is silent and compliant with her job as a geisha. However, the quiet application of the mask can represent a sense of power and respect.
Imagery. So, as we previously mentioned, Girl Powdering Her Neck contains a large amount of visual imagery throughout the whole entire poem. So, we have some examples below, and they include the light is an inside sheen of an oyster shell. That's towards the very beginning of the poem. I believe it's actually the first couple lines. It shows the picture of a light that is bouncing from the shiny surface of an oyster shell that is located in the room. Her hair is black with hints of red. This describes that while the darker black color of her hair symbolizes her Japanese roots, the red actually serves as a way to show that she's not fully aligned with her traditional Japanese culture. The ritual wheel of the body. This quote is used in order to emphasize and describe this woman's morning routine, putting on her makeup. She practices pleasure, reveals her profession as a wealthy prostitute in Japan. She dips the corner of her sleeve like a brush into water. This quote describes her applying her makeup, but it also seems to make the connection that she is painting her face rather than just getting ready for the day in the morning, which makes the connection between the painting and the poem and what the painting is being based off of. And finally, 2 chrysanthemums touch in the middle of the lake and drift apart. This is towards the very end. This metaphor shows the differences in her two different personalities. The painting shows her putting on her makeup and her being externally fine, her outside personality being okay. It seems like she's a very happy woman, but really on the inside, she's having a battle between her internal and her external feelings throughout the whole poem.
The theme can be interpreted in a way that suggests that a woman should not lose herself in an effort to be socially accepted and should be proud of who she truly is. Another theme can be that it can be extremely tiring to meet the standards of society, and it can become so mind-numbing that one eventually loses their sense of self and their happiness.
This is our works cited slide. Thank you for watching.